This is 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. Under heightened security, memorial services have begun across the United States to remember the victims of the September 11 terrorist attacks 10 years on. We have full coverage tonight from our reporters in New York and Washington and here in Sydney, where tributes have also been held for the many lives lost. First to Mike Amor in New York. And Mike, no doubt it's going to be a very moving day.
Well, absolutely, Mark. It was about this time 10 years ago that the victims of the September 11 attacks were getting up, ready to go to work. Of course, they never came home that day. Very shortly, the family members will gather here to read out their names, now etched around the magnificent waterfall memorials where those towers once stood. Stuart Knox will forever be connected to Ground Zero. His twin brother Andrew died in the North Tower of the World Trade Center.
We know that Andrew would have wanted us to live life and experience New York the way that he did.
Stuart has returned to New York with 10 family members, including his parents. When the memorial is opened in just a few hours, the Adelaide school teacher will read Andrew's name out. America has already begun mourning its saddest day. Family members gathered at the field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania for the unveiling of the memorial for United Flight 93. A 2-metre granite wall bears the names of 40 passengers who fought back against the hijackers.
What happened above this Pennsylvania field ranks among the most courageous acts in American history.
In New York, a sombre service to remember the 343 firefighters who died. Young Patrick Lyons read a letter to the father he never met.
Dear Dad, I want you to know that Mommy is doing a great job of loving me and raising me in a happy home.
We all remember where we were that day.
This is all that remains of the World Trade Center, both towers gone.
Especially if you were here.
Over my right-hand shoulder, you can still see that the Twin Towers, or what's left of the Twin Towers, is still burning. If that young reporter looked overwhelmed, I don't mind admitting, like everybody else, I certainly was. This is where we were 10 years ago, and I remember vividly the firefighters, those who survived, walking out of the cloud of smoke covered in dust.
Daniel Finlay from Melbourne took these photos after the second plane flew over his head and struck the South Tower.
The massive explosion, the heat was very intense. It kind of knocked me back.
New York is in lockdown tonight, but this city refuses to let the threat of more terrorism stop them from remembering those who have already fallen victim. In New York, Mike Amor, 7 News.